Today, we get to dive into a dystopian fever dream where the American judicial system, and this is a sincere possibility, goes full Mad Max. All because we allowed tribalism and the woke nonsense to take over the functioning of our minds and the way we manage emotions like a bad reality TV series. Picture this. And based on the evidence that we have today not changing, that Karmelo Anthony, the boy, the man who plunged a knife into a high school football star's chest, killing him, let's just say that the evidence is a preponderance that indicates he's guilty as sin. And the whole country is glued to the trial, witnessing everything that is being presented. Now, the jury goes out to deliberate, but they don't come out for days. They're deadlocked. Why? Not because the evidence is murky at all. It's clear as day. But because deep-seated tribal instincts have taken over and turned the jury room, the courtroom, into a Reddit r/politics thread. Half the jury is voting based on the evidence, and the other half, of course, is screeching about systemic this and intersectional that, and of course, the cherry on top of their sundae, oppression. It's all about vibes, hashtags, and who's got the loudest megaphone on X. And all of a sudden, the thug walks, because in the end, a couple of them refuse to convict, even though they know in their hearts and their minds that he's guilty, but they're proud of it. And they go about collecting their brownie points and maybe a couple of GoFundMes from their woke comrades to make them feel even better and encourage the next idiot to follow suit. But newsflash, folks, this is not new. The jury system was never perfect, but let's rewind to the year 1995 and our old pal, now deceased, fortunately, O.J. Simpson. The guy's glove didn't fit. But let's be real, the jury didn't acquit because of shoddy leatherwork. The jurors even admitted it later. It was payback for Rodney King getting beaten like a piñata by the LAPD. I wish he had been Hispanic because that metaphor would have worked even more perfectly. Nevertheless, they did so for historical grievances that they then pinned on the system. Evidence? Who cares? It was the middle finger to the man, and the man took it on the chin. Fast forward to Derek Chauvin, 2021. Minneapolis is a powder keg, and the mob is outside with torches, chanting, yelling, such that the jurors could hear, threatening to burn the city to ash if he's found not guilty. Do you consider that to be a fair trial? If you were in his position, would you say, well, I guess it was impartial? Come on. That's like expecting a vegan PETA member to stay calm after being assigned to work in a butcher shop. The jury knew the deal. Convict or it's apocalypse now. Poof! The city's up in smoke and flame. Chauvin's trial wasn't about justice. It was terrorists, literal terrorists, using the threat of violence or the use of violence to get a political outcome that they desired, dictating the terms of our survival. Yeah, I called BLM terrorists because that's exactly the way that they behaved. The evidence fits. You don't acquit. Post George Floyd, it's like the jury's got a memo. If the defendant has the right amount of melanin in his skin, don't touch them. Obvious guilty verdicts? Nah. Call it restorative, reparative justice and send the guy home with a participation trophy. X is buzzing with clips of these courtroom circuses. Defendants caught on frickin' 4K doing the crime, clear as day. But juries are like, nah, you know what? He's oppressed. Free pass. It's not justice, my friends. It's a performance, and the audience is eating it up. But here's where it gets picante. a bit spicy, amigos. The pendulum swings because humans are petty, and vengeance is a hell of a drug. Now, after my Karmelo Anthony trial hypothetical, you will have juries nullifying convictions of obviously guilty white people. Not because there's any form of reasonable doubt, but because it's tit for tat. You let your guy off, we let ours off. It is tribalism on Red Bull, and the whole system becomes a dumpster fire. Evidence ceases to matter. Facts are optional, and the courtroom is merely a stage for whoever's got the best sob story and the loudest mob. So what is the end game? We look over to Asia and Singapore because apparently we're out of ideas. Singapore is a diverse nation with significant Chinese, Malay, Indian, and other ethnic communities. Lee Kuan Yew, the guy who built that place into a sci-fi utopian, it is pretty amazing because that place used to be a freaking slum and now it is a first-rate, first-world city, saw this coming from a mile away. He stated that jury trials were a recipe for disaster. Too many ethnic and tribal biases. Jurors playing favorites with their own kind, acquitting defendants because they share the same curry recipe. Yummy. So he ditched juries in 1969 and went full bench trials and handed the gavel to judges who don't care about your feelings or your TikTok clout. Just the law, cold and hard. And here we are, America, praying to the ghost of Lady Justice that people stay objective and impartial, but deep down, we know it's very likely a pipe dream. I mean, if this keeps up, the woke brigade will have done what no enemy ever could. They'll have torched blind justice, turned the Constitution into confetti, and made the American legal system a free-for-all where the loudest scream wins. We'll be begging for Singapore's bench trials because at least then a judge might be able to look at the evidence instead of checking the room's vibe or the accused melanin levels of the defendant. But let's be honest. If we get there, it's not a W. It's a surrender. The woke will have won and will all be living in their dystopian group chat, where truth is whatever gets the most likes. God help us all.